So welcome to the Momma Interviews. Today I have Jacqueline Cohen, who's a licensed professional counselor out in Centennial, Colorado. I almost said Georgia, but
Okay.
I didn't. But anyways, Jacqueline, I'm so happy to have you on here. I've been wanting to talk to you for a long time. I know we met, was it almost 2 years ago at one of the PSI conventions or
Yes.
conferences, and that was just totally loved you from the moment I saw you. So, but tell us a little bit about what compelled you to get involved in maternal mental health.
So I'm a survivor of postpartum depression and anxiety. And when I went to graduate school, this is my second career. So when I started graduate school, I was pregnant with my second child, and I knew I wanted to focus on maternal mental health because of my experience. And
Okay, so so tell us then what would you like all moms to know about maternal mental health?
So don't be afraid to ask for help. That it will always take a village.
Yeah.
No matter how old they are. And that motherhood really isn't supposed to be easy, and it's not easy. And so, you're not alone in the struggle. So, asking for help in any way, shape, or form, whether it's, getting more childcare so that you can have more time to yourself, support groups, just mom groups. It can be therapy, just whatever it is that you feel like that you have a support system, because we couldn't get through any of that without a support system.
Yeah, I think that's so huge. And I feel like I talk to moms, I don't know if you do in your practice as well, but that just having a difficult time finding those support systems, or feeling like moms get them, or like they're the only mom that doesn't fit in.
Right.
And then it's like, how do you find them? And I feel like sometimes it's like, there's a lot of us that feel like we don't fit in.
I know.
So it's like, we just all, these people that don't fit in need to find each other to get that support, because you can't do it. And maybe they don't even have to be moms, but some other, people that you connect with and feel supported by that in whatever patch. Yeah. And not judged. Yeah. That's huge.
Yes.
That's huge.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I do work with a lot of moms, and, I really think it is sort of saying that it's okay for it to be hard. It's okay for there to be days where you don't like being a mother, but that's just how you're feeling that day.
Yeah.
That's
it doesn't it doesn't make you a bad mom.
It doesn't make you a bad mom. It doesn't mean you don't love being a mom in the big picture or love your children. But they're their own little human beings, and
yes,
they're not very compliant.
No, they have right.
Yes.
So tell us, how do you balance being a mom, working, and then also your relationship roles?
Well, I think so. I think it's understanding that balance looks different every week. And that it's really doing the best that you can. I don't know if I can say that I ever really feel balanced. But it really is just, it's thinking about priorities versus demands. And if I'm feeling overwhelmed, really paying attention to what do I really have to do, and then letting go of what I don't. Yeah. So even if we're having cereal tonight.
Hopefully you have milk.
Yeah. Whatever you can find, it's make your own dinner night.
Yes.
And that's okay. And so really it's, as long as, for my kids, as long as they feel loved and seen and heard, then I'm doing a good job.
I love that.
Yeah. So, and I really do try to be intentional of making time for myself and being aware of what I'm feeling and what I'm needing. With my kids being teenagers now, it is a lot easier in a sense. I do have more freedom to move about than you do when your kids are smaller. but there's just other things to worry about when they're teenagers.
Yeah, I feel like that just is a whole nother era of challenges, right?
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
That's why I say it always takes a village.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's
you know. So it's just doing the best you can, and that, being balanced means we can't give 100% to everything that we're doing, and that's okay.
Yeah, that is okay.
Yes. Again, motherhood's not meant to be easy.
No, definitely not.
So,
well, and I think that's I think people think that it is, or they see other people and they're like, oh, well, they're making it look easy. And again, I have moms tell me that all the time. It's like, well, everybody else, it looks so easy for everybody else. I know other moms don't get mad and yell at their kids. I'm like, well, yes, they do.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And we're only looking at a glimpse. And it's usually, if we're thinking that other moms are doing it easier or more easily, then usually that, like for me, that means that I am struggling with something. So I'm comparing myself. And if you're comparing, then it's like, I'm not enough if she is.
Right.
As opposed to, I can be doing enough and she can be doing enough, and it can look different. It doesn't have to be one or the other.
Right.
And what this mom, maybe have a calmer personality in general. That doesn't mean that, there may be something else she struggles with as a mother that is easier for me. And so it's not easy for anyone. It's just different.
Yeah.
So I think just sort of radically accepting that it's hard makes it easier.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Accepting what is.
Right.
Then we can do something, as opposed to wanting things to be other than they are.
And if they're not that way, then somehow you're like failing in it.
Right. Exactly. Right. So.
Yeah. So what is your greatest lesson that you've learned as a mom?
Really, to just be myself.
Yeah.
That's always when I'm the happiest. It's just being myself. And trying to be my own cheerleader. So if any little win is a yay me.
Yeah.
It helps me focus on the positive instead of just what I feel is negative or what I interpret as negative. But I think that for me, I'm always learning about myself through my children.
Yeah.
As they grow, I grow. And I'm learning how to parent with them. So, and we try to, be vulnerable in front of our kids so that they know that they can be vulnerable, and to be that just we're human beings. So we're not perfect. And, personal accountability.
Yeah. I feel like we are supposed to know how to parent. Like we're like out of the gate, like, oh, I should know how to be a parent. But I mean, I have 2 kids, and I feel like what I thought I knew with the first one is totally different with the second one. So I think it's just like proof that we don't know really what we're doing. Like, and we have to grow. We learn to parent better with them. We're not supposed to know it all just out of the gate. Yeah.
Right. And, oh shoot, I had a point and I forgot it. Oh yeah. And, being a therapist and, having all of this professional knowledge, it's like, oh, I know how to be, listening and all of that with my kids. And when I try to do that, they're like, Mom, stop.
Yeah.
So even a knowledge as a therapist that
they don't want the therapist mom.
They don't. And I'm not trying to be a therapist. I'm just trying to listen to them and acknowledge their feelings. what you read in the books, but
yeah.
no, they're like, stop.
Yeah.
So even when you think you have a lot of knowledge of stuff, doesn't mean that your kids are going to respond to that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they are their own little people.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're doing the best that you can, and it's just not what they want or need, and then they won't tell you what they want or need, and it's very frustrating. So
Well, I think that's good to hear from a therapist and a mom, because I think we, or I know sometimes, I'll share certain things with my clients of things that I hear out there and about in the therapist world. And they're always like shocked. Like it's somehow like we should know more or know how to do things better. And I think it is all just a learning curve with each individual child and within your family. Like, it's like, you just don't know. Like, it's all like trial and error constantly.
Yeah, it is.
And like, sometimes you do a really good job and you succeed. And other times it's like, what did I get myself into?
I know it is. And when I have had wins, it is just like, just the universe all came together.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And then it's like, what did I do?
Yeah.
What did I do different that time? I don't know. Just
sometimes
the stars aligned.
Yes, it really is about the stars aligning, because
yeah. Well, what do you feel like is your greatest like personal struggle with the experience of motherhood?
So I have ADHD and wasn't aware of it until I hit 40, when my son was diagnosed, which actually is a lot of times women my age find out that they have it just due to the past 25 years of research on girls and women. And so really ages 35 to 65 is now the highest age group of individuals being diagnosed just due to research. And so what is hard having ADHD is that the daily things that we do that require no thought, those are the hardest to do, because our executive functioning doesn't work like a neurotypicals do, and we need constant stimulation. So if it doesn't require stimulation, it is very, very difficult to do. And so,
like, can you give an example?
Well, just, I mean, and just the roles and expectations of women and mothers in general in our culture, that's hard for any mother.
Right.
So, and keeping up with everything, making doctor's appointments, for school, it's filling out forms. It's food planning, going to the grocery store, keeping up with the laundry, keeping up with, the day-to-day things that we have to keep up with. Or when you think of just like social expectations of being the social planner, or writing thank you notes, or bringing a hostess gift, those things I am awful at. And so it just feeling like things that are easier for other people that would seem to be easy, just are the hardest.
Yeah.
And so just never feeling like I'm caught up.
Yeah. Yeah. That is really
and just
hard.
much more easily overwhelmed. So it really does not take me much to get overwhelmed.
Right. So what do you do to help manage some of that then?
Well, it is really, it's keeping an open dialogue with my husband about roles and expectations, so that, he's not kind of left with the burden of everything, but working together and, letting go of certain things that just aren't important. So while I would love for my house to look like Better Homes and Gardens, because I'm sure anybody would.
Right.
It's just not reasonable. That's not reasonable for any mom, especially if you have kids, and, we have 2 dogs and a cat, and, the more you have living in the space, the harder it is to keep it organized. I mean, but now that they're older, it's really, you can make your own lunch and you can do your own laundry. I have to let go of whether they have clean underwear or not.
Yeah.
Well,
the natural consequence, like if you don't do your laundry, you don't have clean underwear.
Yeah. So it's, again, priorities versus demands, and just being very kind to myself. And it's putting systems in place for me to help me. Organization is not one of my things that I struggle with, but planning I do very much. So it really is just putting systems in place so that I can do these things. I have an ADHD coach, which helps a lot. And for me, help me understand how my brain works. It helps me with my son so that I can help him have live really well with ADHD.
Yeah.
Because he'll know how his brain works, and he'll know systems and strategies to be able to do whatever he wants to do.
Before he's 40.
Before he's 40. Yeah.
So that's a gift. That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, cool. So what is one piece of advice, if you could come up with just one, that you would like to give other moms? I know you've said a lot of awesome things, so I know. But like really, one thing,
it really is to allow your humanness, and to cultivate the kind of mother that you want to be based on your own value system, not anyone else's value system. What's really important to you. And I think that's, giving yourself space to be the mother that you want to be.
Yeah.
That includes your being a human being.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that, because that's, so true. And so pretty much everything you've said today. Well, thank you so much for being here and coming on and sharing your wisdom. Where can people find you? Yeah.
So my website is www.therapymomma.com. And I have I try to blog, but again, that's one of the things that I don't do well.
It's hard
every single week. But I have not gotten that into my routine. But I also have an Instagram page and
and you share great things on there. I follow you on there, and I love the things that she shares. So if you need some inspiration or support or encouragement, then definitely follow her on Instagram.
Thank you. I'm also going to be presenting at the Postpartum Support International Conference this year on understanding ADHD and how it affects women during pregnancy and the postpartum period.
Oh, wow. That sounds awesome.
So, if anybody's going, please come.
I know. I'm trying to figure it out. It always it's been falling around our vacation. So
yes, it's hard. It's expensive, but I'll try to share some of the things that I'll be, putting in the presentation on my blog if I can.
Yeah. Well, I'm beginning to think I might have ADHD too, just because I seem to not be able to do some of the basic things. And the only way I could get regular blogs out is having someone help me get them posted, because I can't, I have the information. I just don't seem to be able to follow through with the actual.
Well, I mean, the other thing that's got to be real. I mean, if you're if it's just you and your business, there's a lot to keep up with.
There is a lot to keep up with. Yeah.
And so it is there's only so much time in the day.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's and being a mom and everything too. I think people we work, most people work, and even if you're a stay-at-home mom, there's so many things that you're doing. So it's giving yourself credit, it doesn't all get done and it doesn't all look perfect.
Right.
And
exactly.
Even if it looks like that for other people on social media, it's not true. There's what's the behind the scenes. So
right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, social media is not meant for us to put all of the hard things.
No.
I mean, sometimes we do, but I mean, you have to just be aware that's what social media is.
Yeah.
It's here's my happy moments.
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, thank you so much again. So love talking with you, Jacqueline.
I know. I hope to see you at the conference. If not, then,
eventually at one of them.
On the phone or yes.
Yes.
So,
all right.
thank you so much.
Thank you.